What is going on, everyone? This is Ninja Geek here, and today we are bringing you some Advanced Warfare gameplay. We're going to be talking about the patch that came out yesterday on Xbox. I believe it comes out in about a week for the PlayStation and PC. But anyway, speaking of PC, we're going to get right into these patch notes. The PC finally got the Havoc DLC, so they got the 4 new multiplayer maps, as well as Exo Zombies, and the new AE4 guns. So if you are on PC, I hope you are all enjoying that. If you do still enjoy the game, playing the game on PC. So that's one thing that should have not really been part of the patch, but, you know, I guess, you know, everything is good. I mean, it's not really part of the patch. It's more of a separate note that it just happened to come out on the same day. The PC finally got this update. Now, we're going to also... By the way, this patch note list will be in the a link in the description below, so you can click and check it out all for yourself, because I'm only going to be reviewing the major things about this patch. You know, there obviously are some UI changes and different things like that, which you can find in the link in the description below. So the next thing is really, well, they say also here that they kind of fixed connectivity and matchmaking improvements when in a party. I'm not entirely sure on that because I haven't, you know, gotten into a party since this update came out, so I'm not entirely sure on that, but apparently they did fix that. But they always say that within every update just to make it seem like they actually do stuff. They added in the 15 Master Prestige ranks and Grandmaster Prestige, so if you don't know about that, that's basically like they added in these new Prestige modes where once you Prestige, there's like a whole like separate thing on that, but you know, it's like a whole separate thing, but it came out with the patch. Apparently, it wasn't like something that they could just update randomly, so they came out with this patch, and you could basically get up to a higher prestige. So there's 30 prestiges now in the game, but these 15 separate prestiges are different from the others because you still get to keep your camos and your challenges, unlike the other main prestiges. So that's pretty cool that they added that in just in case you want to go for those extra prestiges. They, you know, they obviously fixed rare issues of crashing and stuff like that. That's all normal. The next part, weapon balance, people. Let's break this down and get right into it. So, apparently, the heavy weapons got increased player movement by 5%. You know, that's not bad at all. The heavy weapons obviously make you move slower in the game, so having them increased by 5% is probably, I guess, something that's good. It hasn't really been something I've been complaining about, but, you know, I guess it's overall generally good. They fixed the scopes on the AE4. I barely use that gun, and if I do, I usually put a red dot because the iron sights are horrendous on that thing, so I don't know what that means, but they corrected scopes on the AE4. The MK14, the Mark 14 rifle, reduced recoil. Doesn't make any sense at all because the recoil is not the problem on that gun. The gun overall itself is very weak. Recoil, not the problem, but they did reduce recoil. The ARX-160, I'm hearing good things about that from Drifter, and also probably other people as well. Apparently, they increased the magazine size, but they also... It seems as though, I guess, they increased the fire rate as well, but it only says here on the patch notes that they increased the magazine size from 30 to 45, but apparently it got a rate of fire increase as well from like 660, something like that, to about 900 RPM. At least that's what Drifter said in his video, and it does seem like it shoots faster in general anyways, but even if that's not the case, going from 30 to 45 rounds in a mag really helps out. The next update that we receive on here is the AMR9, which increased damage and increased time between bursts. So apparently, according to Drifter's video again, it increased damage by like 5, it increased it by like 1 at medium range, so now it's a 5 burst. You'll never 2 burst somebody, so it's like 1 burst of 5 rounds into the person. If you manage to hit all 5 rounds into them, you will get a kill, but it used to be at the medium ranges that it would drop off, so you'd have to put 2 bursts of the 5 rounds into somebody to actually be able to get a kill. So the damage overall increased, which is very good. And it decreased the time between bursts, so every time you bursted it, it used to be a set time, and now that time is decreased, so that means you can fire more ammo downstream, so you can get, obviously, more shots out at a time. So that is obviously also good, because the AMR9 was one of the weaker guns within the game. Now, the SN6, let's talk about this. It got reduced recoil for whatever reason. The damage was not touched on this weapon, because it really, you know, kind of needs a major damage boost. You know, it needs some sort of buff up, because because compared the SN6 to the ASM1, that is no competition. The recoil isn't really the problem on the SN6, it's just the damage is weak. It is literally one of the weakest SMGs in the game, so I don't know what Sledgehammer's thinking. The KF5 got a mid-damage range increase. I guess that's better to help compete with the ASM1 as well. The KF5 wasn't a terrible SMG, but it wasn't, competition-wise very good compared to the ASM1. So the Atlas 45 pistol got a mid-damage range increased and max damage range increased. That pistol sucked, so maybe it's good now. I don't really use secondary, so I'm not sure, but that happened. The PDW increased damage. The PDW, if you don't know, is a secondary. I know I never used it really before, so I don't have an opinion on that. Shotguns, they reduce the spread while using Gung Ho. That only makes it better while using Gung Ho. It makes sense because Gung Ho seems like it would be a shotgunning attachment, It seems like it'd be a thing you would use on a shotgun class. So getting the reduced spread with Gung Ho probably going to make it a whole lot better. The S12 shotgun got increased rate of fire and increased damage. That shotgun definitely needed it. It was the weakest, and it really did suck. I've used it before, either from picking it up or putting it on a class one time, and it blew. It was so bad. But the next thing, the EPM3 gets another buff. Here we have reduced recoil on the EPM3 because the recoil is definitely the problem with that weapon, right? Yeah, it's not the damage on that weapon. It's definitely the recoil. Since they keep, buffing the recoil, the reduced recoil on that, So, but, whatever, Sledgehammer, whatever, do as you please. The Lynx got reduced recoil. Never used that thing, but I saw that it's a 2-shot, so I'm like, well, if the Lynx is a 50 cal and it's a 2-shot, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, so I never picked it up once, never used it once. The next weapon. What is the next weapon? It is the ASM1. Well, wait a minute. Alright, let's read what this says. The ASM1 slightly reduced initial rate of fire. Come on, Sledgehammer. Come on. The initial rate of fire, you think that was the problem with the ASM1? Sure, that helps out a little bit so that, from the rate of fire being around 1,000 to now like 700 now from Drifter's video that I saw, that's going to help out a little bit so that the weapon, won't shoot as fast, meaning that it won't kill as fast. But the damage of the thing needs to be decreased a little bit, don't you think? That means that it's still going to compete more than the SN6 or something like that. That is not what we want. The ASM1 did get a nerf, but not that great of a nerf, It received some sort of a nerf. I haven't really seen, as of right now, I haven't really seen any users using the ASM1 like it was, because most people are now using the new Season Pass weapon, which I did a video on yesterday. Most people are using that now just because it came out. But overall, the ASM1, I bet if they didn't even tell you, you might notice a little difference, but it's not going to be a huge difference. And the last weapon, wait a second. Where is the Bal 27 on this list? I'm scrolling through, I don't see it. Apparently there's how many 15 weapons that got that changed in this update, and there's no Bal 27. Wait a minute, hang on a second, I gotta clear my eyes. Hang on, all right. Let me go through this again because I'm trying to. I don't know. Maybe the Sledgehammer forgot to put the Bal on the list. Is there something wrong? No, guys, no. Listen, there is no Bal nerf on this list. Boo, Sledgehammer. You suck, Sledgehammer. There is no Bal on this list. I can't believe what I'm seeing right now. There is no Bal 27 on this list. You put the ASM1 here, but the Bal is still one of the most used weapons, and you don't put it on the list. Whatever, dude. Whatever, it is Sledgehammer Games, and you gotta kind of expect that. The next, they updated some UI stuff within here, so there's like rare supply drop error messages, random stuff like that. They fixed store updates, emblem updates. They updated some score streaks, which now makes the sentry gun turrets die in one melee hit, which is excellent because I hate how many times you have to punch those things just to take them out, so it's one hit now. They decreased the amount of time the player has to hold X to a remote controlled sentry turret. to exit that turret, meaning to say they unmodified missile strike missiles now travel faster when boosting by hitting down the fire button while coming down. So, the missile strike needed that update because it was slow bringing those missiles to the ground. It needed that boost. And last, the Vulcan laser score streak now fires longer. The score streaks in Advanced Warfare weren't that great, so now maybe with these updates they can be buffed as well. They also brought some length play updates, some broadcaster updates. Again, link in the description below so you can find all those out. And also they have the Exo Zombies updates as well that came to it. They also, they added in a feature right here to bring a pause button to single-player Exo Zombies. So, currently, you used to not be able to just, if you're in single-player, actually, pause the game if you had to go to the bathroom or something like that. That's insane that they didn't even think about that before they released Exo Zombies. I mean, that's just a complete smack in the face, like Sledgehammer. You don't put the bow on the list. The ASM-1 doesn't get the correct nerf. The bow's not on the list. ASM-1 doesn't get the correct nerf, and you forgot to add a simple pause feature into Exo Zombies. That is it for this patch. The patch was overall okay, had some really bad things like the bow not being here and such like that, but the weapon variants and stuff like that they added in were actually kind of a good thing on this list, that they actually increased some of the weapons to better perform in the multiplayer within Advanced Warfare. So if you did enjoy these patch notes, leave a like and subscribe for more content. I am Ninja Geek. I'll see you on whatever my next video happens to be. I'm out. Peace.